The fox's greedy plan backfires in forest. In a lush green forest filled with tall trees and chirping birds, there lived a clever but greedy fox named Rollo. Rollo always wanted more than he needed. Instead of working hard, he spent days thinking cunning ways to trick other animals and their take food. One sunny morning, Rollo was wandering through the forest when he saw a group of animals sharing fruits and nuts near a large mango tree. Jumbo the elephant, Mitu the parrot, Chiku the squirrel, Tinku the rabbit, they were enjoying the meal together. Rollo's mouth watered at the sight of delicious fruits. If only I could have all the foods for myself, he thought. I will trick them to give it to. Came up with a sneaky plan and approached the group of friendly smiles. Good morning, friends, Rollo said. What a lovely feast you are having. Me too, and the parrot replied cheerfully. Good morning, Rollo. Would you like to join us? There's plenty for everyone. Rollo pretended to look sad. Oh, thank you, me too. But I have just heard trouble. What? There is a trouble inside deep hidden forest. But it's dangerous place. I thought of you because you are so brave and clever. If you will find it, you will have enough food to for last line. And the animals looked at each other and curious. A treasure, Chiku said. Yes, Rollo continued, but it's guarded by a tricky puzzle. If you solve it, the treasure is yours. I'll go myself, but I'm not brave as you all, Jumbo, being the leader, said. We are happy with what we have, but if the treasure can help the forest, we will try to find it. Where it is, Rollo? Rollo smiled. Follow me, I'll take you there. Rollo led the group to clearing a large boulder of pointed hollow tree nearby. The treasure inside that tree, he said. But you must solve the puzzle to get it. The puzzle is, who is the kindest and the most deserving animal in the forest? Only they can open the tree and steal treasure. The animal began discussing who might be the kindest. Meanwhile, Rollo sat back waiting for them to leave food and unguarded. His plan was simple. While they were distracted by the puzzle, he would sneak back and steal all the food. But Mitu noticed Rollo's sly grin. He whispered to Jumbo, I think it's Rollo up to something. Let's keep an eye on him. Jumbo nodded. It's pretending we are solving the puzzles, but let's see what he do. The animals pretended to be busy discussing the puzzle. Meanwhile, Rollo slowly crept away, bending back towards the mango tree, and food was left. As soon as Rollo reached the tree, grabbed the mango, Mitu and the birds swept down from the branches, flapping their wings, chirped loudly. Caught you, Rollo, Mitu said. Rollo started dropping the mango. I was just checking if the food was safe, he stammered. But then Jumbo and the other animals arrived. Jumbo said sternly, Rollo, we trusted you, but it seems you were only lying to trick us from our stealing food. Rollo hung his head with shame. I'm sorry, he stumbled. Mitu said, Rollo, the greed doesn't mean the happiness, sharing, working together do. Jumbo added, the forest is our home. We must look for each other. Rollo felt truly sorry. You are all right. I let my greed gets better for me. I promise to change for a better friend. The animals forgave Rollo and invited him to share the meal with them. From that day on, Rollo worked hard to help others and became a trusted friend in the forest. The story of Rollo's greed, plan, and how it backfired became a tale of the parents to young ones in the forest. As Rollo learned about the true happiness comes from being the part of caring and united community, he not taking the more than you need. The moral of the story is, kids, greed and dishonesty can lead to trouble, but kindness and sharing and honesty create happiness and friendship. So kids, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching.
The Wise Old Owl and the Curious Cat. Once upon a time, in a quiet village, there lived a wise old named Oliver, a curious young cat named Collie. Named Oliver in a large oak tree at the edge of the forest, and the tree had stood tall for 100 years. Every night, Oliver would sit in his favorite branch. Jolly, the cat, had recently moved to the village. She was playful, full of patience, always eager to explore and understand everything around her. One evening, as the sun was setting and the sky was turning deep orange, Collie made her way to oak tree where Oliver lived. She spotted him perched high up on the branch. Hello, Oliver, Collie called up with excitement. I have heard you so much about you. They saw you, know everything about the forest. Oliver looked down at the Collie and gave a soft chuckle. Oh, hello, Kohli, he kindly said. I may know few things, but there is always to learn more. Knowledge is like forest, it's endless. Kohli, eyes sparkled with curiosity. Oh, please, Oliver, tell me some stories. Oliver smiled. Well, Kohli, knowledge isn't about just listening to stories. Sometimes it's about experience, thinking, and finding answers for yourself. Kohli titled his head and said, but it is faster like just I asked. You can tell me everything I know. Oliver thought for a moment and said, I'll tell you what, Coley, I'll share your story. You each night you promise you share me something you will learn today from each day. How does that sound? Coley failed and tickled with excitement. I love that idea. The next day, Coley wandered about the village looking for something new to learn. Oliver listened carefully and nodding. Yes, you see, Kohli, even the smallest creature can teach us a valuable lesson. Over these past days and followed, Kohli shared her new discoveries with Oliver each morning. Kohli grew more and more fascinated, not only by the stories, but the process of learning itself. One evening, after Oliver had shared another story, Kohli sighed and said, I have learned so much from you, Oliver, but still I have so many questions. Will I ever know everything? Oliver looked at Kohli and with a wise eyes and said, learning is not about knowing everything, Kohli. It's about understanding that we have always more to discover. Just then, they heard a loud rustling in the bushes below. Kohli ears speak up and said, help! Squeaked mouths trembling, fox chasing me. Without a second, Kohli jumped down from the tree and crouched beside the mouse. The mouse is my dinner, Fox said, step aside, cat. Oliver pulse was pounding. Kohli looked at the back of Forest and said, why don't you leave this little mouse alone? There are plenty of other things to eat in the forest. The fox narrowed his eyes. And who are you to tell me what to do? Kohli took a deep breath, trying to recall all the lessons she had learned from Oliver's stories. She remembered the story of brave deer who had faced danger to protect others. She looked at the forest's eyes and said, I am someone who believes in kindness and fairness. Just because you are stronger doesn't mean you have a right to bully others. The fox seemed surprised and by her courage. He hesitated for a moment and growled softly, fine, this mouse isn't worth my trouble anyway. This little mouse looked up at the Kohli with gratitude in his eyes. Thank you, Kohli, you saved my life. Kohli smiled and said, we all need a little help for sometimes. From that day, Kohli continued to explore forests many more. The other animals in the village soon noticed the friendship between wise owl and curious kite. One day, a young rabbit approached Kohli and said, how do I learn to be brave like you, Kohli? The young rabbit looked at her with admiration and thanked her. As Oliver, he continued to sit on the favorite branch. The friendship between wise old and goat was became legend in the village. And so, the wise old and the curious cat continued their journey side by side, exploring endless forest of knowledge. The moral of the story is, true friendship and wisdom comes from learning, sharing, and helping others. Courage is not the absence of fears, but the willingness to stand up what is right. So kids, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. The title of the story is Tommy, the Tortoise and the Value of Patience. In a quiet little meadow surrounded by hills and flowers, there lived a tortoise named Tommy. Tommy was not like other animals who were fast and restless. He was slow, calm, and steady. Tommy believed that in taking his time, whatever he did, slow and steady wins the race. He often said to himself, even though some of the younger animals teases him for being too slow. Among these animals was a young rabbit named Robbie. Robbie was quick, energetic, always in a rush. Why are you so slow, Tommy? Robbie often laughed. If you moved any slower, the grass would grow faster than you. Tommy would smile and reply, good things come to those who wait, Robbie. But Robbie never listened. One sunny morning, the animals of the meadow gathered for an exciting announcement. The wise old owl, who was the leader of the meadow, stood on a rock and said, attention everyone, we will have a special event tomorrow, a treasure hunt. Animal cheered. Everyone loved treasure hunts. The treasure will be hidden at the top of the hill. The owl continued. The first one to find it will win a shiny golden apple. Robbie's ear perked up. I'll be the first one to reach the top. No one can run faster than me, he boasted. Tommy, who was quiet, listening. I would like to join the treasure hunt too, the animals laughed. You? A treasure hunt? You will never make it in time, Tommy, one of the most teased them. But Tommy wasn't discouraged. Let's see what happens, he calmly said. The next day, all the animals gathered in the start line, and the owl gave them a map and said, "Follow the clues carefully. The treasure is at the top of the hill, but you will need to find the patience, then solve the riddles along the way." Patience? Robbie scoffed. Who needs patience when you can run fast? As soon as the owl shouted go, Robbie dashed off, leaving the other animals behind. Tommy, on the other hand, took his time regarding, then read the map carefully. Robbie reached the first checkpoint quickly. It was a large pond, and the clue was hidden under a big stone. Easy, Robbie said, pushing the stone aside. But is his hurry? He didn't notice the second part of the clue was written on the back of the stone. He grabbed what he thought and right clue and raced off. When Tommy arrived at the pond, he carefully moved the stone and found the clue. He read it thoroughly and wrote what's written in it. He followed the instruction and continued his journey. The next checkpoint was the patch of thorny bushes. The clue was hidden inside, but it was tricky to reach. Robbie didn't stop thinking. He pushed his way through the bushes, scratching his fur and tearing his map in the process. "This is taking too long," he grumbled. When Tommy arrived, he stopped observing the bushes. "Rushing is only what hurt me," and he thought. He carefully looked at the easier way and found a small gap to reach the clue without scratching. Robbie was forced to reach the hilltop. He looked around but couldn't find the treasure. "Where it is?" he muttered. Feeling frustrated, he realized he had missed something important in the clues. By the time Tommy arrived, Robbie was sitting on the tree, looking annoyed. "Why are you sitting here, Robbie?" Tommy asked. "I don't know where the treasure is," Robbie admitted. "I rushed through the clues. Now I am lost." Tommy smiled and said, "Let's see what final clue says." Because Tommy had taken his time to read and understand every clue, he knew exactly where to look. He walked over to the small hollow ground, dug it gently, and found a shiny golden apple. The animals cheered as Tommy helped in golden apple. "How did you do?" Robbie asked, still surprised. Tommy repeatedly said, "It's about how fast you are, Robbie. It's about being patient, paying attention to the details. Rushing can only make you miss important things." Robbie realized that Tommy was right. "I guess being fast isn't always enough," he said, scratching his head. "Thank you for teaching me, Tommy." From that day on, Tommy tried to be more patient and he never became even good friends. The moral of the story is, kids, patience and careful efforts lead to success. Sometimes taking your time is more important than rushing ahead. So kids, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel PR Kids. Today I have got you a very interesting story. The title of the story is The Golden Egg Mystery. In a small village near a river, there lived a poor farmer named Peter. He worked hard on its little farm every day, but still struggled to earn enough money. Peter had a small house and a few chickens and an old cow. One day, while collecting eggs from his hen's nest, he saw unusual. Among the white eggs there was a shiny golden egg. Peter's eyes widened in surprise. "A golden egg? How is this possible?" he whispered. Excited and curious, he picked up the golden egg and ran to the market. When he showed it to the goldsmith, the man's eyes lit up. "This is pure gold," the goldsmith exclaimed. "I will buy it from you with a high price." Peter could not believe his luck. He happily sold the egg and returned home with a bag full of coins. The next morning, Peter checked again his nest. To his amazement, there was another golden egg. Day after day, he had laid a golden egg, and Peter's wealth grew. He bought new clothes, fixed his house, and became richer man in the village. But as his wealth increased, so did his greed. After Peter, first happy with one golden egg every day, but soon he became impatient. "Why should I wait for one egg every day? What if I take all the golden eggs at once?" he thought. Blindly and greed, Peter grabbed the one knife and said, "If he lays one golden egg, there must be more inside her." Ignoring the warnings of white neighbors, he killed the hen and opened her up. But to his shock, there was no golden eggs inside, just like any other hen. Peter fell to his down in regret. What I have done, he cried. Without the magical hen, he could no more egg lays. Slowly, he spent all his money and soon he was poor again. One day, a wise old man visited him and said, "Greed only leads to loss. If you have been patient, you would still have been the richest man in the village." Peter learned a lesson, but he was hard way. From that day on, Peter worked hard and never let the greed control him. He shared his story with others so no one would take the same mistake. The moral of the story is, kids, greed leads to loss, but patience and hard work brings the reward. So kids, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. The Peacock's Pride, a tale of humility. In a beautiful jungle filled with tall trees and colorful flowers and flowing rivers, there lived a peacock named Roy. He had most dazzling feathers in the entire forest. His tail sparkled with shades of blue, green, and gold. Whenever Roy spread his feathers, the other animals stopped and admired him. Roy loved the attention. He would walk proudly through the jungle, showing off his beautiful feathers. However, because of his beauty, he became proud and often looked down at each other animal. One day, his pride led him to make a big mistake. Roy enjoyed hearing compliments about his feathers. Whenever he met other animals, he would say, "Look at my feathers. Have you seen anything so beautiful?" The little rabbit, the deer, and the squirrel all admired Roy, but they felt sad he never appreciated him. One day, a kind turtle named Tim said, Roy, beauty is not the most important thing in the world. A kind heart is always what truly makes a person special." Roy laughed loudly. "Oh, Tim, what do you know? You have a hard shell, no colors. You cannot understand how beautiful it feels to be admired." Tim shook his head and walked away, hoping that one day Roy would understand. One afternoon, dark clouds gathered in the sky. The jungle animals knew that it was a big storm coming. The wind started blowing fiercely, and soon heavy raindrops began to fall. All animals quickly ran to find shelter. The rabbit began to hide in their burrows. The birds found a safe spot in their nest, and deer took cover with their thick trees. Roy, however, was worried about his feathers. "I must not get wet. My beautiful feathers will ruin," he cried. He turned and round the big tree, but the wind was so strong his feather became heavy with the rain, making it difficult to move. Suddenly, he slipped into the mud and fell. His bright feathers were covered in dirt. He could not fly, he was stuck. As Roy struggled, he heard a gentle voice. "Do you need help, Roy?" It was Tim, the turtle. Despite of the storm, Tim had came back to help her. And Roy looked Tim with teary eyes. "Yes, Tim, I was wrong and so proud, but please help me." Tim smiled. "Hold on to my shell. I will take you safely." Slowly, Tim carried Roy to the dry spot under a big tree. Other animals also came to help. The squirrel brought dry leaves to Roy's feathers, and Rabbit helped to clean the mud. Roy was touched. "I'm so proud of my feathers that I forgot what truly matters, kindness and friendship." After the storm passed, Roy realized that beauty fades, but kindness and humility last forever. The moral of the story is, kids, true beauty comes from kindness and humility, not from appearance. So, kids, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching.